Monday night. We're ticking well into the month of March now at this stage. So to those of you who've been with us since the start of January, welcome on in. You know the score. We're going to start off with the usual Monday night lotto. So let's head over to David and Angela to find out if we can find a winner of this week's jackpot. Over to you, Dave.
All right, thanks, Colin. Uh, 18.
18, well done.
17.
17, well done.
11.
Perfect.
And 28.
11, 17, 18, 28. There you go. With the minimum fuss. We've even given up on spinning the draw drum at this stage. It's just there's no point. Right. Here's our special guest. Dave and Angela will be back in about 15 minutes with the results. Brian, as ever, joins us on the top left, telling us 7,300 is the lotto jackpot. And I'm sure you'll all remember and recognise our special guest, Conor Gleeson. When I say remember, because I can't remember the last time I was at a match where you were playing, Conor. It seems so long ago that there was any sport of any description. I don't know how you're coping, given the fact that at the moment you're in with the Galway football panel, as you've been for the last couple of years, and there's just absolutely no sense at all of when you might even get started. But you're plowing away, doing your own thing on your own. It must be quite tough at the moment, training away on your own and not really knowing when your next game is.
Yeah, I suppose it is. It's tough, but everyone's on the same boat, really. So let's say, what can you do?
What can you do? I mean, as a goalkeeper, what can you do? Just keep kicking the ball hard against the wall and try and replicate shots coming at you, is it?
That's it. With just small footwork and drills and all that. So it's kind of keeping me taking over at the moment.
We got you on here, Conor, because obviously this is the Dunmore Town Forum, and we've had two lads who played League of Ireland on for the last 2 weeks. We've had Mikey Place and Regan Donlan. And of course, you had your stint as well with both Galway United and Din Athlone. Take us back to Galway and how it came about, Conor, that you got to play with Galway United.
Starting off, I would have Merview first in the League of Ireland. That was 2000 we started in 2010 or 11 with them, with the first team. So after 3 years, Merview finished with the League of Ireland, and then Galway United joined. The Galway clubs kind of amalgamated with Salthill, Merview, and Galway United was kind of newly formed Galway FC. So just then we signed them by Tommy John in 2014, and that kind of kicked off the Galway United chapter then.
We kind of nearly forget about that period in Galway football, don't we, where you had Merview, Salthill and Galway United all at one stage, and when Galway United fell away, you had the Merview Salthill contingent in the League of Ireland. It was a kind of a weird time, really, with a very splintered Galway football approach at that stage. Did you find that Galway United club then that came out of the ashes with the mergers and all the players coming together, that it was a stronger unit then than anything you'd played in before that?
I suppose it was the first few years of Merview. Obviously, they was new to the League of Ireland, so budget wasn't high. It was all kind of young players. A lot of young players are on them early teams are doing really well for themselves now, actually. So we wouldn't have had much success in the first few years, but as the years went on, then Merview were getting stronger. And the year before they withdrew from the League of Ireland, they actually reached the playoffs. So a lot of that team then went on. It was part of the Galway United team, the Galway FC team at the time, that got promoted then that year. So it was probably a great stepping stone for a lot of lads, because there was let's say 2 League of Ireland teams in Galway. So a lot of lads, young lads especially, got first team football, which
got good exposure. Yeah. Did you find it was a big step up, a big difference from junior football on a Sunday morning to be playing League of Ireland, even at first division level? Like, was the opposition better? The pitches, I'm sure, were a lot better as well.
Yeah, massively at the start. Especially as a goalkeeper coming in. So it went from, I was with Merview under 16s and then the year after with the 20s. So that was a massive step up there already. Then I was 19 or 20 then playing with the first team. Another massive test as well, young goalkeeper, but I learned a lot from that, I suppose. And that was it. Yeah, it was hard.
Who was coaching you at the time, Connor? Who do you think took you under his wing at that age when you were underage, and who's a big influence on you in learning the game, because it's different from GA being a soccer goalkeeper in some aspects?
Let's say from 13 or 14, I was lucky enough I had a goalkeeping coach. So that was with the Galway Town teams and the emerging talent. That was Adrian Cronin goalkeeping. So he was actually with Merview then when I signed at 17. So I had him for a good few years. So he was a big influence.
And just for, I suppose, any of the young lads, and there'll be a few young goalkeepers looking in on this as well, Connor, that play underage with Dunmore, with both the lads and the girls. Were there a couple of nuggets that you found definitely stuck in your mind, even as you got older, in terms of a goalkeeper? What were the couple of standout things that Adrian would have worked on with you at the start in terms of what stood to you as a goalie going forward?
Just basic techniques to start. I remember going to him first at 13 or 14, and I probably wasn't as eager to learn as I should have been, and even took me a few years to kind of grasp what he was saying. But no, thankfully I did, because I definitely learned a lot from him. So just the basic techniques. Like, I'm coaching keepers now, and thinking back at how unwilling I was to learn, So it's coaching them in the right way. He's an excellent coach, so kind of wish I listened to him a bit sooner.
So yeah, I suppose even just trying to think of the kind of things he would be coaching. Is it working on your weak side, for instance? So if you're right-handed, you might find it more difficult to dive to your left or spring off your left foot. Is it stuff like that?
Yeah, all stuff like that, really, and just small things. Probably you would know now, but people who haven't played in goal might know. So hand position and footwork and everything. So it's just basic things for a goalkeeper. That other.
But even now, Connor, if you watch soccer on the telly, there's been an extraordinary change in the last 2 years in terms of the goalkeeper's role, with the short kick out laterally and playing it out from the back, which I can only imagine your dad, if I was at that back in the 90s, the kind of F-bombs that would have been coming in the fair. Not that you'd have been able to do it in some of the pitches we played in, but I mean, that's a whole different skill set now. It's almost like the goalkeeper is even more of an extension to the outfield players than it ever would have been.
Yeah, it is. Well, since I've that's gone massive now in the last 2 or 3 years. So I haven't been playing 2 or 3 years, so probably wasn't my strongest point either. It wouldn't have been growing up. I would have played outfield, but it's completely different. When the ball's passed back to you and the goal's behind you, it's a lot more pressure.
Of course, one of the big things in terms of soccer goalkeeping as distinct from Gaelic football is your starting point, and I suppose your concentration levels, Connor, because it's a shorter pitch, so the ball can be delivered in your area much quicker than in a Gaelic pitch, which would be 60 meters longer. So with that in mind, is that something you had to adjust to, in that you were probably playing much further towards the edge of your large square for portions of the game, as distinct from a GA goalkeeper, which you've become in recent times?
Yeah, definitely. As a slower goalkeeper, I wouldn't be the fastest. So that was something I struggled a lot with in soccer. Obviously, it can be in your area in the kick of a ball from one end of the pitch to the other. So balls over the top and something like that was always something I wasn't too comfortable with. But in Gaelic, you still do need to have a high start position at times, but it wouldn't be as as common in Gaelic.
Yeah.
So you see all sweeper keepers are very common nowadays in soccer. In Gaelic as well, but not as much.
Not as much. I mean, you're a tall guy, Connor. Was your height an obvious advantage when it came to clubs like Merview taking you under their wing and picking you ahead of all the other young goalkeepers that would have been around the county? And how did you use it to your advantage in terms of, I suppose, the positives? And then are there drawbacks to being a tall goalkeeper as well?
Maybe when I was younger, probably being playing League of Ireland at a younger age, so I was 6'5", would have been an advantage. Obviously, there'd be certain advantages and disadvantages for being a taller keeper, but probably get away with a lot being a bit taller, technically.
Yeah, and I'd imagine for corner kicks and free kicks coming in from the side, it was a big advantage to be able to come out and catch or punch, which of course a lot of the modern day goalkeepers, you see them at it and you wonder why they wouldn't go up and just grab the ball. And that kind of ties me over to, again, that propensity to punch the ball as distinct from catch it. Is that something that you've had to adapt to in terms of your Gaelic as well, where nearly if you come out and punch the ball, if half the Galway crowd roaring at you saying, "Will you catch it, Gleeson?"
That's it, yeah. I don't know. It's everything is a split decision, So you see Gaelic goalkeepers, they'll take the percentage punch or catch, So that's the way I'd like to think I work. If it was in an area I was uncomfortable, I'd just punch it over the sideline, So I take everything as a percentage chance, really.
Looking back on your time, you had a short period of time with Athlone as well as Galway. But talk to me about Athlone Town. What kind of a club or what kind of a setup were they when you went up there, and how did that come about?
First, there was two stints in Athlone. The first one, 2015, so it was halfway through our first year with Galway United back in the Premier Division, and I was in and out of the team really. So during the mid-season break, then or after we came back from the mid-season break, I was let go. So Tommy John just didn't have plans to play me. So that was it. I was let go. So soon, I'd say only a day after I was let go, Bernie O'Connell, he was the chairman of Galway United, rang me. He said, "Is there any clubs I can ring, try and get you in?" He was keen to see, me get back into football. So he rang Athlone, and Adam Matthews was the manager. So he signed me then a week later. So that didn't. So yeah, I signed for Athlone then a week later, and didn't play the first few games, and then actually done ligaments in my ankle playing Gaelic. So that was the end of my season there. I never told him.
Okay, yeah, probably just as well.
Very good.
Well, if you are watching this, Alan, apologies on behalf of the GA contingent who were probably looking at Connor to get the maroon jersey at that stage. Before I get on to the Galway and the GA career, Brian, I'm sure you remember Connor up through those underage ranks as well, as you mentioned, from under 16 with Merview.
Just to mention that the comments are open for anybody who wants to say good luck to Connor or make a comment about the past. I see there's one here from David Burke, and Burkey is up there somewhere in the back. What I'm showing you here this is in 2007, I believe, in May 2007, when Dunmore Town under 13s, well, it was the community games, but they were all Dunmore Town lads, including a man here in the background, a very young goalkeeper.
There he is.
In the background. And the manager that day was Mick Maguire, Mick the Brick, commonly known as Mick the Brick. And, I remember that one as well. The comment here is the glory days with Mick the Brick. This is from David. Thanks, David. And that was a great competition that day. It was played up in Ballygar. I'm sure you remember as well. And we got to the final that day, and the bane of our life on the day was a guy that's now playing with Wickham Wanderers. I'll show you a photograph of him, and you know who we're talking about here. This is Daryl Horgan. Do you see him there in the background, Ollie?
Second from the left, yeah.
That's the blondie guy. He was the difference between us winning and losing that match day, even though I think we were a few goals down and came back against them. But that was the first time really I saw Conor in action, and you know, he was an out-and-out goalkeeper at the time, and it moved from there. Obviously, before I got involved in the club, I got a photograph here this evening, and it was one where a Dunmore Town team. You probably remember this one, and you can talk to me about it. Conor talked to us about it. This is a Dunmore Town under-12 team that played in Terryland against Gort. Do you remember that game, or have you a recollection of it? You beat Gort anyway.
I do, yeah. I think Killian Boy got the winner today. Is that in the clip?
Killian, that's what they call Killian, yeah. A dynamite player as well. And Berkey was on that team, was he?
Sure he was, yeah. He was my age, so he probably was, yeah.
Yeah. And then we have, there's one that, as far as I'm aware, the only Dunmore team, well, in the lads and the men, to get to a Connacht final. And this was, this was definitely, 2007. You played against, who was it? Moyne Villa in the final. Do you remember that famous day down in Castlebar's pitch? And they won it. No, they got an equalising goal to bring it to extra time. And what happened was that the guy, he was Spanish name, Fernandez. No, what was his name? Yeah.
I remember we were talking about, I got love from the halfway line that day.
Oh, you did, but I wasn't going to mention that. I wasn't going to mention that now, Conor. But they got a penalty to equalise. Two things were wrong with the penalty, because the description is up there. Well, I haven't it here now, but coming towards the end of the game, Dunmore were winning 2-1. There was a foul outside the box, and the linesman over the far side, they were called linesmen that time, he waved it that it was a free kick, and the referee, who was in our half of the pitch, runs up and he gave a penalty. They got the penalty. The guy hit it off the crossbar. It came back out, and he did a somersault in the air, fly kick, and kicked it back in. And the referee allowed the goal. It's a goal that shouldn't have counted. Went on to extra time, and they won it in a shootout that day. And the rest is history. But it's probably the first time a Dunmore team, and probably the only time, it was the Connacht Shield. And you had a great lead up to at that time, winning matches in Sligo and beating Galway teams. I think he beat a Mayo team. But they were a great bunch of lads. You know, I remember going down to see that match in Castlebar, and, you know, I suppose the word robbery comes into my head. You know, it left a bad taste, and it was unfortunate for the first Connacht final you were in, that officialdom let you down that day on the line. There were two linesmen and a referee, and they just blew it, you know. So I see here there's a comment from Jim Reddington. Ollie, can you spot that one?
Yeah, Jim is getting back into the Gaelic again. But great photographs, Brian. And Mick the Brick, wasn't he some legend back in the day? So we're talking about the Gaelic inter-county level, where you've been, Conor, and many people felt you ought to have been for the last number of years. So you're in with Galway. So Jim's question, are the goalies coached as well at inter-county level as in the League of Ireland? Are they comparable? So somebody like Adrian Cronin, I suppose you've worked with a couple of different goalkeeper coaches as well. What's the comparison like in terms of the work with goalies now?
Yeah, so I know it's the same position, but there's a lot of interlink technique-wise, and there's a lot of different techniques. So this would be last year. It was my first year back with Gaelic goalkeeping, and I had Martin Max. So we were doing a lot of different goalkeeping training to what I would have done with soccer. So there was obviously different techniques to learn as well. So it is coached different, but a lot to learn in each.
No more than the soccer goalkeeping as well, though, Conor. In the last couple of years, the amount of pressure on inter-county Gaelic goalkeepers now with their kick-out is extraordinary. And nearly the day of kicking the ball out 60 yards is gone. It's all about stats now, and somebody coming up to you at half-time or at full-time will be able to tell you on a tablet that, you know, you lost 68% of your kick-out on your own ball, that type of thing. I mean, is that pressure you feel, or do you just try and roll with it and come up with a technique? Or more importantly, do you work with the outfield players as regards signalling and how you can best beat a full court press from the opposition so that your ball can get to one of your players?
Yeah, well, that's one thing. So it would be a big difference in, let's say, soccer to Gaelic football goalkeeping. So in soccer, we wouldn't work on kickouts at all, really, because it's either going long or you're playing out from the back. Gaelic, the way it's gone now, you're all about possession. So you're trying to pick lads out in the run. There'll be short kickouts and working with defenders and midfielders to try and get kickouts organised is a big part of it. And then obviously,
it's probably evolving all the time as well, because it's very much depending on the players that are in front of you. So is that tough as well if the team is being chopped and changed, which inevitably it's going to be during the likes of a national league where you're trying out different players for a championship team?
I suppose it can be, but every player will know their role, and it'll be worked on a lot of training, so it shouldn't be an excuse.
What are you hoping for this year, Conor? I mean, the talk is, obviously the next announcement is in April, that right now you'd have to say the smart money would be on the inter-county season moving to the autumn like last year, and the club kicking in first. Have you an opinion on that? Would you rather see it at this stage rather than giving the go ahead to go back training in the first or second week of April and then expect to just cram everything into 2 months?
I'm not too sure. I didn't even know that. I thought, I don't know, I'm training away on my own, so whenever I get a call to go back, that's it. Club or county first.
Yeah, and I mean, look, it's I suppose in many ways, it's the priority here is staying healthy and staying safe. And I know last year during the lockdown, you took up golf as well, isn't that right?
Yeah, to keep me busy. Might not get as much time this year if it opens.
I know your sound just went in it there for a while, but I'd say you're the kind of guy now that if you got an extended run at all at the golf, you wouldn't be long getting pretty good at it. Even though I think you scooped a couple of prizes last year already from the presentations that I think I saw out in the open at the tail end of last year. So you're getting the taste for success already.
Yeah, just need a partner now for the Mall Cup. I'm gonna give it a right go this year.
Give it a lash. Give it a lash.
Yeah, we couldn't do a deal behind your father's back now, could we, Conor? That wouldn't go down well in your house.
Well, you're
Brian,
the champion there. You're the champion in that one there. Here we have one. Jimmy Hawk. Good man.
Brian, Jimmy McGee Keating, Dunmore's memory man.
Jimmy McGee, yeah. Jimmy Magoo, yeah. And there's another one here.
Nicky is asking the $64,000 question to you, Conor. Do you prefer playing in goals in soccer or GAA? When you weigh everything up, I suppose the length of the game, the difficulty of the position, the chances of getting hurt, the pressure on the kick out, the abuse from the sideline, which would you prefer? I suppose you've got to be politically correct in how you answer these anyway. But given all your experiences, I suppose there's two different questions. One is, do you prefer, and do you find one easier than the other?
It's a tough question. In certain aspects, in certain areas, soccer could be easier. In certain areas, GAA could be, So, I prefer GAA. Soccer is kind of finished now, and I'm enjoying GAA, so I'm going to stick with that answer.
Okay, that's a good positive answer there as well. Now, so
just putting in here at the moment, Ollie, and just looking at Jim Reddington, former keeper in Dunmore Town, and looking at Nicky Welch, and looking at Ollie Turner, and I see Gleeson. Is this a convention of keepers here tonight? Is this what's happening?
Yeah, have we anybody left out? Yeah, I don't know. We pretty much got them all there.
But is James Kilgariff out there somewhere that he can just come in and make a comment? Well, that's great to see. To keep you keepers, all you stick together. I know that. But that's nice to see. But fair
play, Conor. As I say, it's great to see an underage photo like behind Brian there of you starting out at 12s and to see where it's got you in your career a decade and a half later. So keep it up. We'll hopefully see you in the Maroon of Galway at some point this year, whenever we get the all clear to get football or Gaelic or something back, whether it's in May or whether it's later on in September. We don't care so long as we do. And of course, you've got the McHales as well to look forward to during the course of the summer as well. Connor, thanks a million for popping into us tonight.
Connor. Thank you very much, Connor.
Cheers, lads.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck. Fair play to you, Connor. Thank you.
All right, that's Connor
Dave,
there.
are you
Good
ready
luck.
to come back to us again, Dave? Yeah.
Oh, back again.
All right, Dave, what's the news from the lotto?
We had no jackpot winner and no match 3.
Oh, that's terrible.
Again,
Terrible luck. An awful bad run of luck for
if you want
somebody.
to see more of David Donlan and his sleight of hand, he was on with Keith Barry as part of their magic show on
Yes.
St. Patrick's Night.
Well, like Liverpool, we're going for 6 in a row. 6 in a row now.
6 in a row, 7,400 next Monday night. Who knows? We might have an extra special guest for you to join us then. Thanks to David and
Well,
Angela.
we have you there. I just want to get you on this Molly in the morning and Ollie in the morning. This amount of kilometres you've done this week is sensational. You've gone up to 70 kilometres in a week.
To be honest, I'm gone over 80 at this stage. And
over
I'm
80.
I'm heading out the door in the next 3 minutes to finish it off as well. All right,
So you're going to be finished by the morning. Yeah, that's it. No, we won't tell the other fella.
How's the last man standing going, Brian?
Well, I think City let a lot of people down yesterday, and I think Dave has West Ham tonight, so he's not doing too bad.
Yeah, I won. Well, I had West Ham and I had Liverpool, and West Ham were winning 2-0. So I think there's a good few gone if after Arsenal and Liverpool and City. So
yeah,
they don't update until the last match is finished tonight. So then they'll update it probably tomorrow.
Okay. Well, we look forward to that, and we look forward to your company again next Monday night.
Okay, David.
Thanks, folks.
Okay, 45 guns up here. Good night, everybody.
All right.
Night.
Okay.
Yes,
See
cheers.
you. Bye. Bye.